It was just past noon when Emily Harper, late for her shift at the downtown cafe, rounded the corner of the park and nearly tripped over a crumpled figure on the bench. An old man, silver-haired and slouched, sat alone, his weathered hands covering his face as his shoulders shook with muffled sobs. The world around him bustled, children laughing, joggers weaving by, traffic humming in the distance, but he seemed completely detached, as if sorrow had built a wall no one dared cross. Everyone passed. No one stopped. Except Emily. She hesitated. She really was late, and her boss had warned her, "One more tardy and you're out." But something in the man's quiet pain tugged at her, louder than any clock or consequence. She stepped closer, kneeling beside him. "Sir, are you okay?" she asked gently. The man didn't respond. His breath hitched. A tear escaped down his cheek, shining in the sunlight like something sacred. "Can I sit with you for a minute?" she offered. He nodded faintly, not looking at her. Emily sat, placing her tote bag on her lap, brushing her brown hair out of her eyes. For a long while, neither spoke. She just sat there, present. Not asking. Not prying. Just offering the dignity of shared silence. Finally, his voice cracked through the stillness. "Have you ever built something beautiful, and then watched it slip away?" Emily glanced sideways. "I've tried," she said. "I've had dreams. Some worked. Some didn't. But I think if you built something beautiful, even if it slips away, that still matters." He looked at her for the first time. His eyes, though rimmed with grief, held something fierce beneath them, depth, like a storm that had once been lightning. "My name's Edward," he said slowly. "I used to run a company. Started it in my garage. Grew it for 50 years. What happened?" she asked softly. "I lost my wife last year. Everything else followed. My board, they forced me out. The company's worth billions now. My name's still on the building, but no one inside remembers the man who swept the floors and signed the first checks." Emily's heart sank. She didn't recognize the name, not yet, but she recognized the ache in his voice, the heartbreak of being forgotten. "I came here today to remember her," he continued, staring at the small pond across from them. "This was our favorite spot. She used to call the ducks our therapy group. I guess I didn't expect to fall apart in public." "You didn't fall apart," Emily said, reaching into her bag and pulling out a paper napkin. She handed it to him. "You remembered love. That's strength." He chuckled hoarsely, dabbing his face. "You're kind. What's your name?" "Emily. I serve coffee and scones 5 blocks that way." "You deserve to run the place," Edward said. "I probably never will," she smiled. "But that's okay. As long as I make people feel seen, it's worth it." Edward stared at her, something shifting behind his expression. A seed planted. A recognition. They sat another 10 minutes before he stood up slowly. "Thank you for sitting with a crying old man, Emily." She smiled and waved as he walked away, limping slightly but taller somehow. She made it to work 15 minutes late and got scolded, but she didn't care. Something had happened. She'd shown up for someone. 3 weeks later, Emily walked into the cafe to find a letter addressed to her, handwritten on thick parchment. "Emily. The day you sat beside me, you did more than offer kindness, you reminded me of the humanity that once fueled every decision I made as a leader. I lost that over time, but you helped me find it again. My name is Edward Langston. I founded Langston Tech. You may not have known me, but millions know what we built. I've created a new foundation in honor of my late wife, the Clara Langston Initiative. It will offer scholarships and startup grants to those who serve their community with heart and vision. You, Emily, will be the first recipient. Enclosed is a check to cover your education or any dream you choose to build. Thank you, for seeing me, for reminding me of what matters. Keep showing up. The world needs more Emilys. With deep gratitude. Edward. Inside was a check for $250,000. Emily dropped into a chair, stunned. Her co-workers crowded around her, but the world blurred as tears streamed down her face. She had sat beside a crying old man, not knowing he was the founder of a billion-dollar company. Not knowing he had once led thousands. Not knowing he had lost everything that mattered. She didn't do it for reward, for recognition, or for gain. She did it because it was the right thing to do. In the months that followed, Emily used the money to enroll in college and begin a nonprofit that trained young adults from underserved communities in business and hospitality. She called it Bench Start. Inspired by a moment on a bench in a quiet park where compassion changed the course of two lives. Edward and Emily remained friends. He visited her nonprofit's opening, proudly cutting the ribbon. Reporters came. The story spread, about the billionaire and the barista. But in the end, it wasn't the money or the fame that mattered most. It was the moment someone saw a broken soul and chose to sit beside him. It was the reminder that sometimes, the simplest act, a pause, a presence, a napkin shared, is enough to begin healing the world. And as Edward often told others afterward, she didn't know who I was. But in that moment, she made me feel like I still mattered. That's wealth no money can. Message. In a world where people rush past one another, forgetting names, faces, and stories, be the one who stops. You never know who's on that bench. And you never know the power of simply sitting beside them.